Hot on the heels of the new and improved Power Glove Reloaded, publisher RGCD brings another C64 game kicking and screaming to the Commodore Amiga, in Tiger Claw, a second place entry in the publisher's annual cartridge game development competition back in 2014. Developer Lazycow is joined in this outing by Saul Cross, as they look to refine their original take on the spiritual successor to Datasoft and US Gold's seminal 1984 release, Bruce Lee. Enhancements are very similar to those found in Power Glove Reloaded, with updated 32-colour graphics, a revamped soundtrack and new challenges in addition to an all-new 2 to 4 player multiplayer and training modes as well as selectable difficulties. An option to play the original C64 version is also present. The setup is simple. 3 Lords of Evil have stolen the magic scrolls, and it's up to our titular hero to retrieve them while kicking and punching more enemies in the face than a Donnie Yen double feature. The player is greeted with an easy to navigate menu system, displaying all of the aforementioned gameplay options. The inclusion of selectable BGM is welcome, allowing you to play the various in-game tracks at your leisure. Easy difficulty reduces the map size and enemy wave count, while hard mode gives the same map encountered in standard, but decreased start in health, reduced floor friction, with quicker enemy reactions and increased frequency, really ramping up an already challenging game. While the visual enhancements in Power Glove Reloaded were quite apparent, Tiger Claw doesn't make as large a graphical jump. The small sprites lack the nuance of the former, appearing cruder with some stilted animations. Improved environmental art such as the waterfall adds a little bit more refinement over its 8-bit forefather, but any graphical flourishes are noticeably absent. The large single screen play area means major sprite upgrades could be a difficult task, probably requiring level design to be reworked to compensate for larger, more detailed characters, but it's a shame the Amiga's capabilities aren't utilised further. On the plus side, frame rates are rock solid and performance is generally very good. Where Tiger Claw does pack a bigger punch is its music. Saul Cross's suitably themed soundtrack contains some great upgraded compositions, with the Game Over track, The Tiger Sleeps, being a personal favourite. The soft stereo sound effects are perfunctory but lack any real impact, with the impressive in-game tunes highlighting this even more so. If you've played Datasoft's original, you know what to expect when it comes to the gameplay mechanics. A mixture of platforming and close-range combat makes for some hectic action. Jumping feels responsive, but combat can initially feel a little clumsy. Yet after a few attempts, you soon feel like a kung fu master as you time a flying kick to perfection from a high platform. However, sometimes it's easier to flee than fight, jumping rather than fighting your way through enemies. The game does recognise this, with certain areas forcing you into beating hordes of foes before you can progress further. Power-ups help increase the number of moves available to you, with the double kick jump and downwards punch proving the most effective. The stun mechanics can be a little unforgiving, where an enemy can attack you before you've had time to recover, draining all your health, which proves extremely frustrating. As a whole, the level design is well thought out. Certain platforms tease, making you soon realise a power-up is required in order to reach them, but once attained, action becomes fluid and rewarding. A few rudimentary boss battles keep proceedings fresh, although their attack patterns are quite predictable. Tiger Claw is an extremely challenging game that occasionally feels unfair in places, like the problem with the stun mechanic mentioned earlier. Thankfully, this isn't too common, but does threaten to kill some of the fun factor, and for most of its playtime, the single screen action of Tiger Claw is a lot of fun. If you go into the game with your expectations in check and look past the very basic aesthetic, there's a great deal of enjoyment to be had. While it's not on par with Power Glove Reloaded, Tiger Claw is definitely worth a look.